So the DJI Mini 5 Pro has just been released and you've probably watched about 70 different videos on this drone. But I'm going to tell you in this video 10 things that you need to know about this before you go and buy it. So the Mini 5 Pro Short is a fantastic drone with a new 1-inch sensor, video and photo quality. This is its biggest upgrade. And this is what it's going to be focused on the most in launch videos and the promotional material for this. It's all about this camera quality. But that means that you miss out on other things or things that really aren't mentioned about this. And it does affect people depending on where you're going to be living. Also some additional features that you probably didn't know even existed on this drone because it's just not mentioned as much because all the attention is about this 1-inch sensor. So hopefully by the end of this video, you'll know a bit more about this drone. So a new feature on here that was just literally like slipped into the bottom of this was free panel mode. So I like doing panel photos. I've been doing these a lot more this last year. And on the DJI Air 3S and the Mavic 4 Pro, we saw free panel mode. So what this allows you to do is customize that start and end point for your panel photos to get even wider shots. Something which I use all the time on the Mavic 4 Pro. We didn't have this on any of the other mini drones. It's now on the Mini 5 Pro. So if you like doing panel photos like me, I think they're absolutely awesome. This is a fantastic new feature we have on this drone. And you've seen me use Active Track so many times on all these different DJI drones. I love getting the drone to just follow me when I'm like walking on a bike, could be on a boat, driving the car, and the drone can just be positioned anywhere on that clock face, to the side, back, front, diagonal, and it will follow you, and it is fantastic. But a biggest pet peeve about using it was the constant updating of that home point. The drone would set off, you would set off on a bike, you might be 5 miles down that road, and the drone thinks that home point is still 5 miles back. So you constantly had to keep going onto your controller to update that home point. No more. We now have the feature from the Mavic 4 Pro, which is dynamic home point. So when you're going on your bike or a car, or you're going to be moving and you get the drone to track you, all you have to do is go to click update home point, click dynamic home point, and the drone will constantly keep updating that home point to the controller's location. So you don't have to do anything else. So if you like doing Active Track like I do, this is a great additional feature. I don't even think this is available on the DJI Air 3S, so this is really good. Now, if you do enjoy tech and drone content, please consider hitting that subscribe button. I've got more videos coming on the Mini 5 Pro, some future releases as well. Black Friday's around the corner, so you don't want to miss out on this. And if you enjoy these videos, do me a favor and just like watch it to the end. YouTube really care about that now, so I would love you to do that, and it would just help me out as well. Cheers. And this is where it takes a bit of a curveball, and this is in relation to where you're living and the restrictions on this drone. So if you're buying this drone in the EU, this is certified as a C0 drone. However, in the actual packaging here that you're going to get, the instructions that you probably never read, the stickers that you probably got a load of now, there's this, which is a C1 label. And there's also some additional instructions here which tell you about a C1 drone and also a C0 drone. So what does all that mean? Well, basically it means when you're in Europe, like I was flying this recently in Spain, the height restriction, this is locked to 120 meters, 400 feet. Now, this is the legal limit in majority of countries all around the world. So what's the issue? Well, if you're going to be going to an area where it's like a mountain in the hills, something where you're really high up, then this is where the issue can arise. You might also be doing something where you have permission to actually go over 120 meters. You've got permission from an outside body, like the government body or whoever, depending on your country. But you can't because the DJI software is locking it to 120 meters. So if you buy this in like France, Spain, anywhere in the EU, it's going to be locked to 120 meters. Now this isn't great, I can hear you say, but what you can do to remove that, you can change this drone from a C0 classification to the C1 classification in the EU. And what you have to do for that is you go into your drone controller, go into the settings, and where it says height limit 120 meters, say request height limit increase. So what you have to do, you have to click on that button, you have to get your phone, you have to scan the barcode, sign into your DJI account, get your drone, remove the C0 label, take a picture of it with the serial number, which you'll find by taking the battery out, submit that, and then that will then give you the unlock, which now means this is now a C1 drone. So you get your C1 sticker, and you stick that on. That does mean, depending on which country you're in, you might have more restrictions. You might not be able to fly it in certain places over people. That's down to you. But if you're living in the EU, thinking about picking up the DJI Mini 5 Pro, just know it will be locked to 120 meters unless you do this additional step. And what about all my good friends in the US? So I know a lot of you guys love these mini drones. And can you go and get the DJI Mini 5 Pro? Well, no. So it's still not available on the DJI website at the time of recording this. Now I have seen on previous launches like these two drones, you can get some stock on like B&H, Adorama, but it's really limited and you're going to have to keep checking that website all the time, or there might be a drone store that's able to get one of these. But majority, like you tell me all the time, like I see, is you're just going to cross the border into Canada or Mexico. You're going to find a way to get one of these drones, but it is ridiculously frustrating with everything that's going on in the US and DJI that this isn't available to buy on the DJI website or like Amazon the easy way. So you're going to have to get in that car, fill it up and go and get one of these. But for you guys in the UK, you can get this and there's no height limit. So it's just when you go into an EU country, that's where it will be locked to 120 meters, 400 feet. If you're picking this up and you're flying it in the UK, there's no 120 meter limit. And the great news is that we can now finally get rid of the infamous DJI screwdriver. So on the DJI Mini drones, what you would have to do is get the screwdriver, put it into here, turn it, try not lose the little screw. It was an absolute pain in the ass. And just making sure you had this with you all the time, just in case you had like a crash, you needed to change that propeller. This is essential to keep with the drone all the time. Thankfully, not anymore. All you literally have to do now is push and turn. So this has push and turn propellers. So you push in and it comes straight off, get it in place again and turn it so much faster, literally minutes faster. So if you have any issues, you want to change these propellers, super easy now. So that's a great additional feature you've got on here that just isn't really mentioned. And I mentioned in my launch video about the advantages to the battery life on here. So battery life has always been either overestimated on previous DJI Mini drones. I was always getting about 15 to 20 minutes on the Mini 4 Pro, not great battery life at all. On here, much better. It has more capacity in that battery, still being lighter weight. So it's fantastic DJI have done that. But I was always noticing when I've been flying this in different locations during all the testing I was doing, when I was screen recording it, I was always getting round about 30 minutes of flight time, which is really pretty accurate compared to what DJI is saying of 36 minutes. But also if you pick up the Fly More combo, you can charge two of these batteries simultaneously, so you can get these batteries charged faster as well. However, you do have to use a 65 watt charger. So when they say the numbers for charging these batteries, it's normally like a little asterisk, and that's if you use a fast charger. So if you have one of them, like a fast power brick or a fast charger at home, then you're going to get those types of numbers and you're going to be able to charge two batteries at once. If you're literally just using like some 5 watt USB cable in your car, this is going to take forever. Now, if you like cycling, you're going to be happy that this now has a new cycling mode. So going back to Active Track again, Active Track on here has been improved. Now, it's been improved in a few different ways. Now, DJI will focus on this new Active Track like 360 and the new cycling mode, but it's been subtly improved in a lot of different ways. So if you're using this and you're tracking yourself in a car, the drone's going to be able to get into position much faster. This is a slightly faster drone, a whopping 2 miles an hour faster. But just getting into position is better when tracking on a car. Now, if you're on a bike, you've got a new cycling mode. So you have standard and you have cycling. So if you're just walking, you might be out with a group, you're going slow on something, standard mode is going to be good because it will then track you and it'll be a lot more smoother than it was in the past. Now, cycling mode, this is a lot more responsive and direct. Now, this is going to ensure that you're focused in that frame as well, but the drone is responding a lot faster. Now, you can also get this really close to you. So by default, and be careful with this, in the settings, when you're using Active Track, under cycling mode, the drone is really close to you. So you can obviously go and change that in the settings, but I was able to get that drone just off to the side of me here like this on the screen and get these really cool shots. I would say out of all of these drones now, for tracking you when on a bike, this is second best. The Hover Air Pro Max is still the best for tracking because that's just a crazy drone. And obviously it's got built-in propellers, but this is the best DJI drone for tracking you when on a bike. Now, purposely not mentioning about this 1-inch sensor and the photos and videos and how that's been improved, because that is fantastic. And I mentioned all of that in my launch video, but there is ways of actually making sure that your footage looks good. And I will do a full video on this, but just in general, basically a couple of things you need to change. So if you go onto your settings and you go to camera, by default, yet again on these mini drones, DJI always over sharpen the actual footage. So you don't want it to look like a flying iPhone. You want it to look realistic. So if you go to camera, go down to style, you will see sharpness and noise reduction set to 0. But even at 0, it's still way too sharp. So when you're using video on here, you want to make sure that is down to -2 to get much more of a natural image. And noise reduction, I always have this set to -1. And then secondly, if you go to your gain and expo tuning settings, by default, the drone is pretty erratic at moving, especially that gimbal. The gimbal goes up and down super fast, looks terrible. You want all your shots to be nice and slow and cinematic. So go into your normal and cine settings and just reduce those numbers down a little bit. I will be going into full detail about this in a future video, don't worry. And that'd be a good time to tell you this video is sponsored by me. So I have my own website which dedicates to make your life easier with your drones. So on there I've got digital cheat sheets which tell you the best settings to change to get the very most out of your drone. I've also introduced physical books that get shipped to you. So I have them for the DJI Mini 4 Pro. You can go through here and have this with you all the time when you're flying your drone. I've got them for the DJI Air 3S. And I've also got my ultimate cinematic drone moves. So you can take this with you, keep it in your bag, and then practice all these different drone moves from beginner to advanced. So you can go and pick up any of these right now, both in physical and digital format. I'm going to link it at the top of the description. But I've also got some coming really soon in digital and physical format for this guy, the Mini 5 Pro. So if you want to get ahead of everybody, because they sell out really fast in the physical format, you can go onto the website, go to the bottom where it says sign up for discounts, and you will get alerted when these are going to be in stock. So you're going to be first to order these, and you'll also get an additional discount as well. But if you want anything on that website, I've got Video LUT's going to make your video quality look better. These physical books here get shipped out to you. So go and have a look. I really appreciate it, anybody who buys anything on there. Thank you. And a feature we saw on the Mavic 4 Pro we don't have on the Air 3S or the Mini 4 Pro is auto start and auto turn off. So if this isn't on by default, you can go into the settings, scroll down, and then you can turn both of these on. But it just means you're going to get your drone in the air faster. And again, not really mentioned by DJI. So all you have to do is unfold the arms. It's cool, and it just means getting this drone in the air. So if it's a sunset or sunrise, or you're driving somewhere and you think, oh, that looks pretty cool. Should I get my drone? And it's like, can I be bothered? Yep, it's faster now. Let's do it. And then also turning the drone off as well. So you just basically fold the arms in.
Aircraft will power off in 5 seconds.
You get that notification.
On aircraft to cancel.
And in 5 seconds, unless you press the button, the drone will turn off. It's just like subtle things like that that have made this drone even better. Now, a new feature we've got on the Mini 5 Pro from the Mavic 4 Pro is this rotating gimbal. Now, I've got mixed opinions and feelings on this. When I first got it on the Mavic 4 Pro, I was using it all the time. I was roll crazy. I was doing it all the time. Same on here. It was like something new, something different. But then I suddenly just drift off. I don't really use it as much, but I will do the odd 1 or 2 and add it into that footage. So what's not been mentioned again by DJI is that obviously, yes, we can rotate this gimbal. And you notice at the moment the drone is in horizontal mode. But if I click on this screen, I can rotate that gimbal to vertical. So now we've got true vertical video. It still works the same in vertical mode as well. So if you're doing reels and you want to do videos like this where the gimbal is rotating, you can do it. It's not just limited to horizontal like a lot of the promotional material looks like. But we can also do more advanced moves as well. So say we've got the gimbal pointed down, we want to do a reveal shot. So you can see the gimbal is now going up. But if we rotate that gimbal back down again, we're flying forward, let's just imagine. We're going to rotate that gimbal up, but we're also now going to do a subtle turn as well. So the gimbal is now rolling whilst also revealing that landscape. You can like mix it up and add a few more creative shots into it, just to make them a little bit more interesting. Now you can buy this drone with the DJI RC2 controller or with the N3 controller. I don't really use this a lot, to be honest, because you've got to ensure you've got your phone with you all the time with the DJI Fire Pan. You've got to remember the cable connector. It's just a lot more of a faff, and I don't know, I just don't really use it as much. So you can only really buy it with the RC2 controller, which is quite disappointing because this came out with the DJI Mini 4 Pro, the DJI Air 3. It's quite old. I would have thought we would have had an upgrade to this. And the upgrade came in terms of the DJI RC2 controller. This obscenely good controller with a rotating screen, 2000 nits of peak brightness, but you can't buy this in a package with the DJI Mini series. I did ask why, and because this is like geared more towards beginners or that hobby flyer, they didn't think it would do well of having the Mini 5 Pro in a option with this really expensive controller, because I believe this controller is more expensive than that drone and the RC2. So yeah, I get what they're saying. However, you can buy this as a separate accessory. So you can buy the RC2 Pro and you can use it fully with the DJI Mini 5 Pro. So don't think like, oh, I wish it could have been compatible with this. It is. It's what I've been using all the time. I use the RC Pro 2 with that Mini 5 Pro. So if you're thinking about getting this and you go, oh, it's so expensive, just believe it is that good. You'll never use the RC2 again. The screen, the quality of it, everything is just a complete game changer. And a bonus one, if you forget your memory card, this kind of helps you out because now it has 42 gigabytes of internal storage. So that's 40 gigabytes more than that Mini 4 Pro. Something again DJI aren't really mentioning, but it's just going to help you out. In the past, I've forgot my memory card quite a few times and I've been like, oh my God, I can't get that footage now. It's so annoying. But 42 gigabytes, this is a decent-ish amount. You're probably going to get around about maybe 10 minutes of footage in 4K. So that's all right. It's better than nothing. So 42 gigabytes is now available on this Mini 5 Pro. So I hope you enjoyed that, guys, and you learned something else about that Mini 5 Pro. I get why a lot of the attention is based on this new 1-inch sensor. Yeah, it's incredible that we have this now on a mini drone. Photos, videos has been improved, but I really didn't want to focus on that. I wanted to tell you about additional things or some restrictions on this Mini 5 Pro, just so you have like a really good idea about should you get this or not. If you want to go and pick it up, I'm going to link it at the top of the description as well. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe if you're new around here, and I'll see you guys very soon. Bye-bye.